Here we are, almost at the end of the semester, and we are on Chapter 11, Ethical Issues in Couples and Family Therapy. Why might someone, a helper, want to work with families? Well, there's a lot of reasons. For one, if we're working with an individual client, we want to gain as much information as we can about that client and that client's history and what makes them tick, learn what that makes them tick. Really, the best way to do that is to also talk with the people that the client lives with, their support system, their support network. That's going to give us a good idea of where this client currently is, and it's either going to corroborate with what the client's telling us, or we're going to be moving in a different direction. And I say that in terms of AODA counseling and mental health counseling because that's typically what we use it for. We don't typically use family sessions just to use family sessions, but we do use family sessions in order to help understand where the client's at and to also provide some support to a struggling family. So if you have a person who's addicted to methamphetamines, that has a significant role in the family. Chances are it's taken over that client's life and the family has been placed way down at the list of priorities. And so it's important that we bring in the family as much as we're able to and talk with them and find out where they're at and maybe find out how this all got started and what their relationship is like. And so it's a very important part, and I think that this specific field has been expanding and growing, and I think a lot of it's been focused in mental health as well, but I think in the AODA field has been using it quite a bit more often as well. All right, so in terms of ethical standards, when we're talking about family therapy, couples therapy, every person is treated as an adult, and as such, everyone's confidentiality is treated under the law the same. So if you have a couple in your office, each one of the individuals, their rights are protected under HIPAA, and also probably your agency's policies and procedures as well. All right, responsibility to clients. Marriage and family therapists, and this is on page 405, advance the welfare of families and individuals. They respect the rights of those persons seeking their assistance and make reasonable efforts to ensure that their services are used appropriately. And so that's really our goal, is to really help strengthen the family unit, because the family itself has a profound impact on not only our community, our society, but also on a micro level within our own extended families and our children. Well, it's a big deal. All right, and then there's professional competencies and integrity associated with this type of counseling. What type of competencies do you need to be able to master in order to practice this type of technique or this specific area? All right, we're looking at systems theory, which views psychological problems as arising from within the individual's present environment in the intergenerational family system. I'll say more about that in a minute. Symptoms are believed to be an expression of dysfunctions within the system, which are often passed along through numerous generations. In the field of corrections, I can't tell you how many times we come across generations of family members that have been through the system and come through programming through us. It's not uncommon to have a mother or a father and their child come to us. Sometimes a grandparent has been through us, aunts and uncles. And so that view, that this theory, I think is pretty valid because I see it in everyday practice. We become who we're around. And so if our family members are committing crimes and teaching different values and beliefs that that make it okay for us to justify stealing from people, hurting people, and we grow up with that, that's what our beliefs and values are going to be. And it's very difficult to change values and belief systems. It can be done, but it is very difficult. And so when we're around those types of people, especially when we're younger, then it comes across, it's gonna manifest itself later on. It's another reason why we work with couples and families, is to see if there are symptoms from the different generations that are maybe addicted or committing crimes. All right, and then of course informed consent when working with couples. It's critical here just as it is in any aspect of counseling in the helping field. All right, part of the informed consent process involves couples and family therapists clarifying their positions regarding confidentiality from the outset. So like we mentioned before, and this is on page 409, second paragraph down, we mentioned that before, where we want to discuss these things up front with our clients. It goes on to say the most well-known way to deal with confidential communications within a couple is to provide a good therapeutic structure, that is, informed consent, which we've discussed. When it's done properly, family members are in a position to decide whether to participate in therapy and how much to disclose to the therapist. And when therapists take the time to obtain informed consent from everyone, they convey the message that no one member is identified as the source of all the family's problems. All right, so it's important that we make everyone feel as though they're an individual. We want to hear them, hear what they have to say. It becomes important that we make sure that everyone has the informed consent signed and that it lays out exactly what the expectations are. All right, then there's some case studies that you can read about as well. There's gender-sensitive couples and family therapy. Okay, family therapy through gender-sensitive couples and family therapy. Family therapy is conducted in an egalitarian fashion, and both therapist and client work collaboratively to empower individuals to choose roles rather than to be passive recipients of gender role socialization. All right, then you have the feminist view of family therapy, an approach that focuses on the gender use of power in relationships in an attempt to encourage a personal commitment to challenge gender inequity. All right, so I think I'm going to stop there, and you can continue to read about the case studies, and we will move on to the final learning plan for this course. Let me know if you have any questions.